Like, food is medicine. I don't care where you are in your life, but food is medicine. This is my skin right now. You can see I have a little bit of scarring here. And on this side, I just came here to get some lighting. This is from the natural sunlight. I have a little bit of scarring here. This is from cystic acne. It led some scars, but generally speaking, like, if it wasn't for food, if it wasn't for changing what I ate, if it wasn't for really having an understanding that my food that I consume is going to help heal my skin, if I knew that when I was growing up, I would have changed my diet like that. I would have changed everything and anything possible to see, it didn't happen like that, obviously. Like, I went through the conventional route through taking medication. There's a couple birds in there. There's Louie and Snowy. Hold on, let's say hello. Maybe they're not too skittish. They're kind of afraid of me because, like, I can be a bit of a dick to them sometimes. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm just trying to be nicer. But you just got to give them their space. There they are. There's Louie and Snowy. They're in there. Hi, Louie. Hello, buddy. I know he doesn't like fingers, so... But if I knew sooner that fucking food would change my life, I would have done it. And that's why, I love food. I have this passion for food because food can heal you. And that's why I love food so much. If you eat the right foods for your metabolic type, if you eat foods that are right for your nutritional profile, foods that optimize your health and well-being, think about like a car. It's a pretty bad analogy because every car is also different. A diesel is different than a Honda Civic, and a Honda Civic is different than a Tesla. Good example, actually. Honda Civic, diesel, and Tesla, they're three different cars and they all require different fuel types. Let's see if I can get a better example. Hybrid. You have a hybrid. You have a Honda, you have a gas vehicle, and then you have an electric vehicle. So let's use this analogy. So let's say you are a carb type. Maybe you're like the electric car. You need electricity to fuel that electric car, right? But the thing is, if you try to put gas into an electric car, it's not going to do anything. If you tried to actually, there was an insert, they all had the same insert, and you started pouring gas into the electric port, then you're destroying your Tesla. The same thing is with food. If you're putting the wrong foods into your body, this is perfect. I'm gonna post this online. If you put the right foods into your body, if you put the wrong foods into your body, you're going to kind of like put fuel into an electric car. But and that's where metabolic typing comes in. How all of us. I'm gonna make a more in-depth video about this, and maybe I'm gonna kind of share with this on my personal blog post about the difference between different metabolic types, because I think that's super, super important. Like, I don't think, like, I have all these acne clear recipes online, which are fantastic, but they are variations because I'm a mixed type. So I'm kind of like the hybrid. Okay, the hybrid can take both gas and it can run on electricity. But the thing is, it's about knowing when to put what in your body. So for example, maybe in the morning you don't have a really strong appetite, so you'd probably fare off on a lighter breakfast, right? Or breakfast, right? So you have a nice light breakfast in the morning, and then for lunch, for example, you may get really hungry or kind of hangry. Maybe you're just a bit irritable. Maybe then, you're gonna get really, really hungry and you have a strong appetite. That's a time to have maybe gluten-free pasta, right? Which I'm also gonna make a nice recipe on because it's so easy to make, right? So gluten-free pasta, and then in the dinner, you might want a light dinner, and then you have some white fish with potatoes and some steamed vegetables, right? And then maybe you have fruit with those meals, or some organic orange juice or something like that to kind of complement the meal, and maybe you have some snacks throughout the day. That would be a hybrid type. That's what I am. I'm a hybrid. I'm a mixed type. That's my metabolic type. But sometimes I'll shift towards a more protein type, like during the winter seasons when it gets cold, I'll become more of a protein type. So I'll actually metabolize like avocados and steaks and fatty meats a lot better than I would in the summertime, and vice versa. In the summertime, I think a lot of people can attest to this. When it's hotter, you don't have to eat as much food because your body is maybe getting a lot of nourishment or nutrition from the sun or from other sources, right? You're being nourished in another way. So that would be more kind of like the electric car, and then gasoline would kind of be like the so like in the summertime, you're not hungry, so you're eating more like a protein or more like a carbohydrate type, where you're eating very lightly. Maybe you go for watermelon. A lot of people go for salads, the potato salads. You don't really feel like eating a lot of meat, but no problem. I would still encourage you to eat some protein with every meal, even if it's a small amount, like white fish or like a little bit of some chicken breast or eggs or yogurt or dairy, right? Now, in terms of acne, dairy can be inflammatory. So, I would highly recommend you stay off dairy for a little bit until your skin is cleared up, and then start reintroducing it once your skin is cleared up, just to see how you react. But even then, maybe dairy is still not a trigger food for you. Maybe it's actually beneficial for you. So it's really important to know which foods are good for you. But if you notice that if you eat a lot of dairy, you're like, oh, I like dairy, I like cheese, and you're eating it all the time, and then you're constantly getting breakouts. Well, there's a correlation there, right? Do an experiment. If you're having acne, cut out dairy for 2 to 4 weeks and see if it clears up. And then if you start reintroducing it again, how badly does it get triggered? But the thing is, when you eliminate it for a little bit, chances are your skin will improve. That's why all my recipes are gluten and dairy free, and also egg, corn, and soy, which are also, I say those are the top 5 allergens you want to avoid when it comes to, and I'll make a video on that too, more in depth, and why to avoid soy and corn and eggs, because they can be inflammatory as well, and they can wreak havoc on your body. But like I said, like dairy would be something that you would consume in the summertime. Like, why do you think people like ice cream? Because there's some protein in it, it's mostly sugar, but it cools you down. People gravitate more towards lighter foods, more higher sugar foods. So that's just an example of, why you would eat more high carbohydrate diet in the summertime. But maybe some people are pure protein types, and I don't believe nobody's really fixed onto one way of eating. Maybe you are a pure protein type and you do better with like steak and eggs, or just dark meat and vegetables and like very little to no carbs. That would be more like the gasoline type. You have your gasoline type, which would be more like a protein type. You have the electric car, which would be like your carbohydrate type, like when you eat in the summer, nice and light. And then you have the mixed type, which is what I am, the hybrid, which is, you have a little bit of red meat for lunch, but in the morning you may not have an appetite, but in the evening you don't really have an appetite either, so you have a light dinner. Or I'll have a very ravenous appetite throughout the whole day, so I'll just eat high protein. So it varies from person to person, and it's super important to get in tune with your body and understanding which foods work best for you. The reason why I post these recipes is so that you can have a variety of recipes to choose from. But it's kind of hard to pick which recipes you want to pick if you're not in tune with your body. So I think that's something I may need to do some extra work around. I might even have like a workshop or some kind of talk about finding, like tuning into your metabolic type. I'm going to write this down right now just in case I forget, because this is a live video, so bear with me here. So yeah, I just wrote this down. Having a questionnaire, getting to know yourself. It's super important to know which foods work best for your metabolic type, and there's some really great questionnaires, but really it's just about tuning into your body and asking yourself, okay, what do I need? And that can vary from person to person. And don't think about it, just let it come to you. Just slow down and connect with your gut before you eat. When you start getting hungry, what do you feel like eating versus what you think you should be eating? That's what you should be eating. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.